What's up, guys? This is Chaz and Charlie, and today I want to discuss, am I qualified to talk about weed addiction? And maybe this is more of a rant than a discussion. So this has came up a few times in the comments on my shorts, where people may not agree with my opinion on weed addiction, and they'll say, well, this guy knows nothing about addiction, or when an idiot makes a video about weed addiction, or somebody who's unqualified to speak about addiction. And I really find that comment quite hilarious, because as I've stated in the past, I made this channel for people who struggle with weed addiction, as I struggled with weed addiction for almost 20 years, 19 years to be specific. And 17 out of those 19 years, I smoked every single day. So I feel more than qualified to speak about weed addiction. I feel like somebody who tells me I'm not qualified is like telling me I'm not qualified to talk about being black. And I'm black. So, and I was thinking, what actually makes you qualified to talk about weed addiction? Do you need experience? Do you need to be a doctor with medical expertise? Do you need to study addiction without having an issue with weed? Or do you need the experience? And I'm going to say experience is key. You know, a lot of times when we get our college degrees from these institutions and we get 4 years of learning in our major and we go for our dream job, and they say, oh, you have the education, but you have no experience. So therefore, we're going to go with somebody who has the experience. So I'm going to say, dealing with addiction, what makes you qualified is your experience with the addiction and overcoming the addiction itself. And we as people, we are the same. We all, well, we have eyes, we have ears, we have arms, we have legs, we have feelings, we have emotions. So we're the same, but at the same time, we're also very different. And things can affect us in a different way. And addiction in particular, you know, different vices affect people differently. Some people are alcoholics. Some people can drink every now and then or once a year and be okay. Some people can smoke weed every now and then and be okay. Some people, like myself, it will lead into you smoking every day. Some people can smoke pills. Oh, you can't smoke pills. Some people can, come on, Charlie. Some people can take pills and not get addicted. Some people take them and they can't stop. So it really depends on the person what vice you choose. So to say, because one thing doesn't affect me the same way, I know everything about that drug or that vice in particular. So I'll take alcohol, for instance. We can all agree that alcoholism is definitely a thing. People can definitely get addicted to alcohol and become alcoholics. But does that mean that every person who drinks will become an alcoholic? No, it definitely depends on the personality type, and probably also different variables as far as trauma or events that can also cause or reason to fall into alcoholism. So me personally, I still drink. I drink. Me and my wife have a date night every 2 to 4 weeks, and we'll have a couple cocktails or a few glasses of wine for date night. I've never really had an issue with alcoholism. I can drink or I cannot drink. If I drink and take it too far, I probably don't want to drink for a long period of time, because who wants to be sick? But because alcohol is not my thing, can I say, well, people who are alcoholics are stupid, or, you know, you can't addicted to alcohol because I drink and, you know, I'm not addicted. It affects people in different ways. So I think the same thing with weed. Some people, you know, may come in and say, you could just quit. It's not a big deal. Just quit. Okay. Some people can't just quit. Some people have chosen weed as their vice. Again, I can drink or I cannot drink. I can drink once a month and be fine. I can't smoke weed once a month and be fine. If I smoke weed every month, it's going to turn into every week, turn into every other day, and before I know it, I'm back smoking weed on a daily basis. I can't play with myself like that with weed, just like people who have an issue with alcohol can't just have a drink every now and then. So I mentioned in another video that I'll link above, the addiction community in particular doesn't really have, I think, a respect for people who say they are addicted to weed. Now, do I think people who smoke weed need to go through a 12-step program and go through years of weed anonymous and take withdrawal pills? And no, I don't think people who are addicted to weed have to go to the extensive steps that you would take if you were an alcoholic or if you were on heroin for sort. But just for that reason, can I say that, you know, weed is not addictive? And more to my point, if I know I'm not the only one, I know others do struggle with addiction, and I have successfully quit weed, why would I not be qualified to speak on weed addiction? Personally, if I was talking to somebody about an issue that I was having, I would want the person that I'm talking to have experience with that issue. If I'm going to somebody about marriage issues or marriage counseling, I would like for my counselor to have been married for a long period of time and had a successful marriage. If I'm talking to somebody about YouTube, I would like somebody who has been doing YouTube for a long time and has a successful channel. If I'm talking to somebody about weed addiction, I would like to speak with somebody who smoked for a long time and who successfully quit. And I think because our experiences may differ slightly, we'll say, well, that wasn't my experience, so what this guy's saying is baloney, so he knows nothing about addiction. And I just find that weird that people, and like I said, I find it odd. I think it's with weed. Oh, hold on, guys. Yes, guys, I have poop in my hand. So I think, you know, just because our experiences may be slightly different doesn't trump the other's experience. If you come in and say, oh, I quit weed and it was no big deal, good for you, great for you. Maybe you never had an issue with weed addiction. I feel like if you can just quit, then you probably didn't have an issue with weed addiction. Everybody who smoked weed won't become addicted. Everybody who pops a pill doesn't become addicted. I have taken ecstasy before. I didn't like it. I didn't care. I have taken hydrocodone. I have taken I forgot what else I take. Anyway, I've tried a few different pills. I don't do pills. I never cared for them. So just because one person's vice doesn't affect you the same way doesn't mean you have all the experience on that particular vice. So again, what qualifies somebody to speak on a weed addiction? Do you need personal experience? Do you need medical studies? And I do think, I have personally, even after I did smoke, I did actually go through, hold on one second, guys. Okay, as I was saying, after I did quit, I still continue to do my research on weed addiction and find out reasons on why I was addicted and while others may be. A lot of the medical experts, they don't even study things about weed. As common as weed is now, there still aren't a lot of studies on it. For example, something like CHS, which is quite common now with weed users. In recent history, in the last 10 years, doctors were misdiagnosing people because they weren't testing people for CHS. They didn't even know it was a thing. And it was a thing because I believe I went through it when I was like 17 or 18. I have experience with that said issue. So just because, again, you don't have the same experience with that substance doesn't mean a person does not know what they're talking about. Things like exercise. In the health fitness world, there are so many different opinions. Some people say go keto. Some people say count your calories. Some people say no carbs. Some people say 1 meal a day. Some people say you can't eat anything white. No white rice. No white bread. Some people, it differs. Your journey, your what works for you may not work for somebody else. But the key is that we do recognize that we do have an issue or we do have a problem that we want to solve, and we go through steps to solve it. And the steps can differ depending on the person. Some people can quit cold turkey. Some people have to wean themselves off. Some people, everybody's story is not the exact same. So I think we have to stop shitting on other people's journey just because ours didn't fit exactly what theirs was. So guys, I am done with my rant. Like I said, it wasn't really a discussion, it was more of a rant. But I'd like to know, guys, who do you feel like who's qualified to speak on weed? Somebody who has the experience, somebody who has the knowledge, maybe a little bit of both. I would say a little bit of both. But maybe you feel differently about who on what addiction is. So guys, please comment below. Until next time, like, subscribe, share, and remember, we are all in this together.
Do you think it's time for you to quit cannabis? Well, I encourage you to make that transition to a new life, free from the chains of weed addiction. It's up to you to make that change, but sometimes we may need a little guided help. So I created a 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. This journal helps you go through a 30-day process to create a new life. I am a strong believer of people helping themselves, but without being told what to do like a child. But we do need to be steered in the right direction sometimes. Each day focuses on a thought or idea for that day and prompts you to write down your own thoughts and your own reasons. This will help you understand yourself and your addiction. By the end of the 30 days, you will see a clear path on how to create a new life of marijuana sobriety. If you need the motivation to take control like I did, please visit Amazon to purchase the 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. Your future self will thank you.